Welcome to Book Time. The program is brought to you by Vision FM with me, Kabiru Musa Jammaje. In the program today, we will be listening to 3 speeches delivered on the Jammaje Day. The speakers are Dr. Raliya Mai Jammaje, Malam Adamu Ladan, and Nasir B. Muhammad. Let's start with Dr. Raliya Mai Jammaje from the Department of English and Literary Studies, Bayero University.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I will also stand on existing protocol. I've been invited here to speak about the importance of recreational or leisure reading. Now, my love is literature. That's my discipline. That's my area of specialization. So I have a great deal of love for literature. And when I was asked whether my speech was written, I said, no, my speech is not written. My speech comes from the heart because it comes from a place of love. I think that there's really nothing more beautiful than literature. That's my opinion. But I believe it is so for several reasons. But let me begin by talking about why we are here to celebrate Jammaje Day, isn't it? And the Institute has served many people in terms of improving their language skills, English language skills, and other things besides. And I always say that it's all well and good if you can speak English very well. And when you speak, everyone listens and they note that all your punctuations, all your grammar, all the pauses and everything is in the right place. But do you speak from a position of knowledge? How do you get that? Only through reading. You can learn English from classes, but how do you get to know the world? Through literature. So I say, read, read, and read. And what is the importance of reading? If you are under stress, if you are bored, if there is something you don't know, where do you go to? You go to books. If you can't sleep, you go to books. You want to know something that you never knew before, you go to books. Someone spoke about the beauty of watching the movies and how best to do so. Now, I am an avid movie watcher. I love movies. I keep up with them. But there is something that we always tell our students. Every dramatization, which is the movies, isn't it? Every dramatization, every movie is someone's interpretation of the story. But when you go to the book, you and you alone are interacting with it. So what you see in your head is your own interpretation. You make it your own beauty. You own it. You make it yours. And so, for me, that is the beauty of literature. You tell me it is red. Well, you show me your red in the movies. I see my own red in the books. And this is the beauty of literature. And Matthew Arnold says that where do we go when we are looking for what makes us human, what we call humane values? What makes us different from the beasts in the field, from the cows that we rear and the chickens in our backyards? What is it that differentiates us from the animals in the wild? It is human culture. And the biggest repository of human culture and values is literature. So if you want to know what it is that separates you from those that are inhumane, you go to the books. Literature brings out the best that is in you, because as Arnold says, it is the best that has been known and thought in the world. There you find sweetness and light. There you find humane values, complete on all its sides. In literature, you encounter the other, the alien, the known and the unknown. Let me tell you something. It's one thing to be proficient in one thing, But it is better to know a little something about everything than to know everything about just one thing. That is what makes you knowledgeable, intelligent, and that is what makes you an interesting conversationalist. When you speak, people listen because you get knowledge. You bore people when you can only talk about one thing, but you are interesting if you can talk about many things. And so people will come to you, they would want to talk to you, they would want to speak with you, they would want to interact with you, and they will be proud to even know you. And you can't get that kind of knowledge in the classroom, you can only get it in books. And you can't get that from books that are prescribed as textbooks, you can only get it through your own choice of reading. Recreational reading, leisure reading. That is the importance of reading. So you want to have what is called general knowledge, you want to know the world, you want to make an impact, you have to go to books. And I am going to leave you with this because it's time for prayer, isn't it? I'm going to leave you with this. I'm speaking from the heart. If you don't love books, you are missing out on, arguably, for me, the most important aspect of what it means to be a human being. Thank you.
The second speaker is Malam Adamu Ladan, a well-known media practitioner who served in several capacities.
Let me first begin by congratulating Malam Kabiru Jammaje for coming this far and organizing this occasion today. Let me say that my interaction with Malam Kabiru Jammaje began in 2007. Already Jammaje was running a program in Kano, and I saw it important to export Jammaje to Jigawa State too, but with a different tune. And we came up with a different program, though with the same concept of trying to improve the audience, the listeners in the English language. So when I moved to Kaduna also, I tried to export Jammaje to Kaduna, but with also a different theme, trying to inculcate the culture of reading. Just like the speaker that spoke before me tried to expose the importance of reading, I noticed that in our environment, we are very deficient in reading. Especially the Hausa community are more of a listening community than a reading community. So I came up with a program, Book Time, and I challenged Jammaje to see how he can be part of this project, to see how to improve the reading culture of listeners in the northern Nigeria. And Jammaje took up the challenge. So also, when I came to Kano to pioneer the Vision Radio FM, at the same time also seek the indulgence of Jammaje to continue with the same challenge. And Jammaje took over the challenge, and I believe what we are seeing today is a culmination of a relationship between the media and creative industry that has led to what the Jammaje Academy has transformed into. Let me say that Jammaje, as I have seen him and have interacted with him, is a very, very intelligent and entrepreneurial individual. Jammaje is very perseverant, is consistent and constant in pursuing his goal. From the nobody to Jammaje that is somebody today, Jammaje has reached a zenith in what he wants to achieve. So let us celebrate Jammaje and also use Jammaje as a model for the youth. Like someone has pointed out before, that we shouldn't depend on an employed job. We should be job providers. We have brighter future. Africa will be the leading population in the next 50 years. So what will we do with this population? Will you depend on this population to feed ourselves, to develop ourselves or to become a nuisance in the world that is more technological, that's more technology savvy. We should use the youth to develop our own talents and also bring development in our own society. Let me say that opinions have been made about how you will advance this academy. Let me add that what phase now is you have to embrace technology. We are now moving from the analog age to digital age. We have seen this with the advent of COVID. Before COVID, nobody would believe that the world will be brought to a standstill and the world will be moved to a digital age, and the revolution has come to stay. So the earlier we take the challenge, the better. When the COVID came in, the worst casualty was the creative industry. The movie industry in particular, the theater in particular, became the hardest casualty. We have seen it, but some people saw advantage and opportunities in the calamities. Netflix took the advantage. We have seen how Netflix moved from where it was. Within few months, Netflix earned more than $17 million using the COVID-19 as an advantage. So we should use technology as an advantage to advance our cause. Let me not take much of your time. I want to also align myself with the suggestion offered that you should try to begin to regulate yourself. We have seen Jammaje has set a phase on this drive on private entrepreneurship using this academy as an example. So you should try to regulate yourself. We have seen so many academies coming in, and some of them need to be regulated because they have serious impact on the society. So the earlier, the better you form a guild of such entrepreneurship so that you can begin to regulate the activities of those who are coming into this business.
The last speaker is Nasir B. Muhammad, an actor, a director, and a scriptwriter in the Kannywood film industry.
I would like us to reflect on why we are here. We are here to celebrate Jammaje, to celebrate what he has been doing. And one of the poets referred to Jammaje as a solution to universal problem. He didn't interpret that, but my interpretation of that is looking at English as a universal language. English was an international language, but it is now agreed to be a universal language, which is why the opening of branches, the expansion of the academy, a lot of people registering to learn English. People who have stayed with their mother tongues, not bothering to learn English. English has become universal in the sense that there are a lot of international communications that are based using English language. And English is believed to be like a unifying language, a language that unifies different people, different cultures, and different nations. Also, English is the language of international business. People from Nigeria go to India, go to Dubai, go to so many, China, and many other countries, and they use English to communicate. Another thing is people that travel in the airlines, in the places they go, there are instructions, there are guidelines that are all written in English. Another thing is internet now. Internet is a school of itself now, and the language of the internet is mostly English. So with this, I think it is important to know that English has become a universal language and it is important to learn it. And why use films or why watch films to learn English? There are advantages of watching English movies to learn or improve English. One of it is hearing the real English from native speakers, as Prof said earlier. When you hear a language from a native speaker, you tend to understand it better. And not just hearing the real English, there are words that when read, we don't pronounce correctly. Textbooks are great for learning English, but why movies have age over textbooks is you hear the native speakers pronouncing the words correctly. Another thing is visual context. Some words are within context. And by relating the word with the visual or gestures, you understand it better. You hear and understand the word better. And again, you explore cultures. When you watch in English films, you explore cultures. Even in Hausa, for example, the way we greet elders is different from the way we greet our friends. And that also adds to the advantage of watching English films to learn the English language. There are some films that I will recommend for the students to use or to watch in learning English. One of them is Notting Hill. Notting Hill was produced in 1999, and it's a story about a London book owner or bookstore owner whose life has changed when a popular American actress visited the bookstore. So there are a lot of conversations that go with good diction, good vocabulary, and a lot of stuff. Another movie is The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games is, easy to understand American accent. You have some tension-filled fight scenes, full of vocabularies and, placed within context. There's also The King's Speech. The King's Speech is a story of a king who stammers but has to face the people and address them. So a speech therapist was hired to coach him on how to talk. So there are a lot of ways, on how to pronounce words, how to even put words within context. There's also The Queen. There's also When Harry Met Sally. When Harry Met Sally, is very important to watch because there you see an American conversing with an English person. That is a British. They use their own languages. We all know that there's a difference between American and British English, some slight differences in terms of pronunciations in some of. One of the key examples, of the difference is sometimes, for example, prepositionally, the Americans use on, whereas British use in. For example, at the weekends, on the weekends. These are some examples. So, When Harry Met Sally is one good film to understand the differences between the British and the American English. So, some tips on how to, watch movies to improve your English language is, it's better to choose the films I listed are interesting to me and to many others I know. They might not be interesting to everybody, but choosing interesting films is one of the keys so that you don't just switch off as you start working because the movie is no longer interesting to you. And another thing, avoid movies that are too difficult. There are movies that are full of jargons. That may not be easy for a student to understand. And when watching a movie, you aim to understand at least 70% of the movie, what is in the movie. And when you hear lines, that are good expressions, you keep repeating them. They will help in understanding the language. Another key thing is using subtitles. Use subtitles when watching English films, because some words, when pronounced, you wouldn't understand them. But once you see them written on the screen, you will know the words, and it will help in understanding English. They say my time is long, and I think this is something that I shouldn't take much time talking about. Thank you.
Dear listener, this is where we end the program today. We hope you have enjoyed every single minute of this episode. Now, on behalf of the management of Vision FM, the producer Adamu Muhammad Lawans, and the editor Saminu Sise, I am Kabir Musa Jammaje saying, Happy New Year.